In the news, we've heard a lot about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac lately, but what does it all mean for those trying to buy a home? Chuck Sederstrom's here with Finance One. He's going to help us to explain everything. Chuck.
Courtney.
Huge story.
Big story this week.
Yeah.
We just keep getting fortunate to have these big stories to talk about on Financial Fridays.
I know, but so many people are going, what does that mean for me?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
We're going to touch on that quick. Let's first explain it. We're hearing a lot about this in the news right now, and a lot of technical terms. Let's boil it down to simplicity.
Okay.
Fannie Mae, which is the flagship company we're talking about, it's Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, two separate entities, was created in 1938 to buy FHA loans with the recently created FHA in 1934. But let's say it this way. The federal government, Uncle Sam, created a new entity or child in 1938. They named this child Fannie Mae.
Okay.
Fannie Mae came into this world to purchase mortgages to spur on the home buying market, to create a ready access to home buying capital. As Fannie grew and matured, she became profitable and showed maturity and responsibility. So in 1954, the parents, the federal government, decided to change the way she was so that she could become more profitable. And then in 1968, she was fully mature and was sent out into the world. But like so many of us, when we go into the world, the parents had to co-sign for her loans.
Okay.
So the federal government stayed on the hook as the guarantor, if you will, to stand behind some of these transactions. It wasn't a direct correlation, but it was an implied correlation. Again, the analogy is your parents co-signing for a loan.
Okay.
Fannie went out into the world and unfortunately had a bit of a party and was a little bit irresponsible in the way she behaved over time. And there's a lot of reasons for that we won't get into now. But simply put, now mom and dad have to pay the debt. So when we talk about the federal government taking over Fannie Mae, that's not what in fact happened. The word being used is conservatorship.
Okay.
Now some are likening that to a bankruptcy, and in effect it kind of is, but simply put, as a conservator, the federal government, the parents, have simply stepped in to manage the finances of the young child that had gone awry. So in a simple version, that's what's actually happened. Now, I do want to take a minute and run through 8 key points, and I think we'll see them on the screen here. This is exactly what was identified last Sunday when this announcement was made. This is what actually has happened so far. First off, it was announced that business as usual when they open Monday, and I will say, in the meantime, and to answer your question, what does it mean to home buyers, rates have in fact dropped a little bit during this time. I think maybe some of it's perception, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, rates have gone down a little bit since this announcement, business as usual. The enterprises will continue to grow without limitations. Now, some find that to be a little scary because, oh my gosh, is this going to create a greater tax burden on us taxpayers? But they're going to allow it to continue to grow. And this is the signal that's being sent. Guys, we're out there to fund these mortgage loans. Number 3, a new entity that was created last summer called the Federal Housing Finance Agency, or FHFA, will assume all of the power of the board and the management. Now, in other words, mom and dad stepping in to manage the finances of the kid. Okay, so they're taking control, the federal government, in the management of this. They kicked out the CEOs. The bad actors, if you will.
The nannies.
Exactly. Hate to beat up on people, but unfortunately they acted irresponsibly. But they have announced limited management changes since that time. They stopped all stock dividends. That's kind of bad news. All political activities and lobbying stopped. In the past, we've talked about how that's created some problems. They've created additional financing relationships with the Treasury, and they're going to change the laws to help restructure these entities. What does it mean to the buyers? Guess what? There's still plenty of mortgage money available. It's even cheaper, Courtney. So right now, we're not seeing an impact to our buyers.
So get out and go buy yourself a home. Because
what did we say last week? Now's the time to buy.
Now's the time.
Exactly.
You got great rates out there.
That's right.
And if people want to buy a house, they're thinking about it. Maybe they're thinking, I'm not sure what my credit rating is, or even if I could qualify. Chuck, they got to call you. They
should please call me at 502-6501. Courtney, or on the web at finance1, the number one.us.
Finance number one.
.us, the number one.
.us.
That's
Chuck, we're going to see you next week. Thank you for that great information.
Appreciate it.
And coming up, find out how you can see internationally known artists right here in Omaha. We're going to have all the details next.